Okay. So let's go to 1A. Did Jesus really resurrect from the dead? 1A. Why is the resurrection so important to Apostle Paul? Do you remember some of the reasoning? If resurrection did not happen, what are some of the implications for him?
Jesus didn't die for his sins.
Oh, what was that?
Jesus didn't die for his sins.
Okay, so you would still be in sin. So that's one of them. Okay, keep going.
You're still guilty.
You're still guilty of your sin.
You
Okay.
don't have any hope.
No hope.
Religion falls apart.
Okay, the religion itself falls apart. Okay, so very good. Okay, faith is useless according to Paul. Still guilty of sin. No afterlife, no hope for the future, and we should all be. So everything basically collapses if Jesus did not actually resurrect from the dead. Because everything he said was basically a lie then. Okay? So this is why, according to Paul, resurrection is very, 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 very important. Very crucial to us as Christians. All right, let's go to B. What are the evidences that Jesus' tomb was empty?
They were trying to lie about it.
Okay, who's they?
The high priest.
Okay. The Jewish leaders who killed Jesus. What kind of lies did they say?
Jesus' disciples took the body.
Okay, so they said Jesus' disciple took the body. How does that point to a clue that or evidence that Jesus' tomb was empty?
If the tomb was not empty, they didn't start the lie.
Okay, right. If tomb is there, or if Jesus' body is there, then they don't need to start some kind of rumor or a lie.
Yeah. So it's obvious that his body was gone,
Okay.
and they wanted to point in a finger to the disciples. So
Okay.
they didn't want the other these people to believe that he just actually resurrected.
Very good. Very good. Okay. What else? Any other examples of or evidences or clues into?
So there was a guard.
There was a guard.
Yeah, but they they guarded overnight.
Okay.
But when the angel came and then
Uh-huh.
they were afraid and they ran away. So and then they reported. So I think we saw the Bible verse saying that the soldiers who were guarding.
Yeah.
was not telling.
Right. That's right. Right. And then the priest paid them off
Oh yeah, and then
to
that.
spread that lie. Okay, so it's related to that. Do you remember any other ones? There was one more major one that gives us into a clue as to why the tomb was empty. Do you guys remember another one? Where did Christianity start?
Oh, Jerusalem.
In Jerusalem, where the tomb is. Their whole goal is tomb is empty. Their whole message is Jesus resurrected. So if you want to start that, if you want to lie about it, you got to start that somewhere else. Okay? Because everybody can just check.
Okay.
In Jerusalem. Very good. Let's go to C. How does Jesus' disciples change of behavior point to the resurrection? So specifically, the 12 disciples, how does their change of behavior point to the resurrection? Or why don't you guys, let's start with this. What are some of the change of behavior?
They were scared before.
Okay, they were scared before.
They ran away.
They all ran away.
They denied.
They all denied Jesus. And this is when what? Jesus is actually still alive.
Yeah.
They all did these things.
But
Okay.
after,
But after about what? After about 50 days,
They started preaching.
okay, they start to preach.
other languages. And,
Okay.
others. So
Yeah.
They start be a witness.
Okay, yeah, they're starting to actually say, "Hey, we actually believe in Jesus, and we believe that He resurrected." Okay, so why is that? How does that actually point to the resurrection then?
Because if they didn't really meet Jesus after he's resurrected, there's nothing happened that can explain that their behavior changed.
Right. So they're scared of arrest. They're scared of acknowledging Jesus in front of Jesus. They're scared of death. For 50 days later, they're not scared of death anymore. So what happened? Something must have happened. Okay, and we think resurrection makes the most sense. Very good. Let's go to, how about Paul? Let's first talk about what happened to Paul before and after.
He was going to Damascus to persecute all the Christians.
Okay, so he was persecuting Christians, but after some time passed, what happens? Hi, Joseph.
Actually, not
Is it
persecuting.
Paul or Saul or such the same person?
Yeah, Saul, and then his name
Change it.
Oh.
changes to Paul. Yeah, so Saul, Paul.
So after he met Jesus on the way to Damascus,
To Damascus.
yes, and he now became a Christian, and he is trying to witness Jesus.
Yeah, right. So before he used to kill Christians. Now he's telling other people about Jesus, and he's actually running away. Okay. So again, this points us to the resurrection because something changed in him. He's an enemy. He has no reason. So something changed. Okay, last example is James, Jesus' brother. What happened to him before and what happened to him after?
He wasn't Jesus' follower when Jesus was alive. He didn't believe that.
Yeah, he didn't follow Jesus. He didn't believe what?
Jesus was Son of God.
Yeah, he didn't believe. He actually lived, okay, and this is very important, right? Because he actually lived with Jesus, was with him for a very considerable amount of time. But when Jesus was alive, no interest in his brother being a Messiah. But afterwards, what happened to him?
He became a Christian.
He became a Christian. Not only a Christian, he becomes
Christian leader.
becomes a very prominent leader in the church. And then he also is willing to die. And we know this from even Josephus, okay, the historian, Jewish historian. Okay, so we know that he actually dies for his own brother that he did not believe before. So what happened after Jesus' death that he's willing to die for his own brother? Okay. Very good. Today we're going to talk about one basic thing, but within it, two things. Why is Jesus so exclusive and his followers so arrogant? Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about. Why is Jesus so exclusive and his followers so arrogant? Okay, I'm going to show you guys what I mean by exclusive and arrogant. So here's an example of Christians being very exclusive. Okay, what does it say at the top? Jesus is the only way. Okay, not all way or God is the only way. It says Jesus. That's very specific. Okay, that's very exclusive. Okay, the only way you could get to heaven is only through Jesus. Okay, there's only one road to heaven, not other ways. Okay, that's exclusive. It says if you want to avoid hell, you need to repent and trust who? Again, Jesus. Today, this is what one person says. Religious exclusivity is not just narrow, it's dangerous. So he's saying people like this is very, very dangerous. Religion has led to untold strife, division, and conflict. It may be the greatest enemy of peace in the world. If Christians, he specifically now says Christians, if Christians continue to insist that they have the truth, and other religions do this as well, the world will never know peace. Okay, so he's saying, basically, Christians, you guys need to stop saying there's only one way to heaven. Okay, this is wrong. Stop saying this. Why? Because this is creating conflicts in the world. And we need to have peace in this world. So stop saying these kind of things. It's very, very dangerous. Here's another example. This is a rabbi. I'm absolutely against any religion that says that one faith is superior to another. And this is the arrogance. Okay, this is the arrogance part. Okay, Christian message, they say, is exclusive, but it's also arrogant. To say we are closer to God than you, that's what leads to hatred. Okay? So Christians, you guys say, oh no, Jesus is God. He knows better. Okay, he's the only way. Okay, that's implying that you're better than other religions. If you're converting, what are you doing? You're saying mine is superior, so you need to change to mine. That's arrogant. Let's go into discussion questions, talking about this topic. So just with people next to you guys, do you agree, disagree with all of these things? Go for it. I'll give you guys some time to talk about this.
Why do we use the word arrogant? Why do we use the word arrogant?
No reason.
No reason.
Yeah,
So you just did it on a whim.
I guess so.
So you don't even believe in your little thing that you're saying.
If you want to talk, we could talk afterwards. If you have questions.
Isn't this the time to talk?
No, it's time to have discussions.
Which is talking?
Oh, if you have questions, you could ask me afterwards. I think we talked about this several times already. Okay, go ahead, guys. Start having
So,
discussions.
Do you agree with Rabbi? He says like, if someone says like,
Purity, like, not my religion is. We don't really say that, but we're trying to tell people that.
It does lead to
I
conflict.
think that
What I think about
when you say superior,
I think that's like.
or saying that like, I did it, this is true.
So what you're saying is
Let's talk afterwards. I would love to talk to you, Justin. Let's talk afterwards.
Isn't that the same thing saying that
Yeah.
my religion is superior, saying that my religion is superior? Like, would you feel on the side or side? Yeah, always.
They're always like,
So this is what I think. Like other people may feel like, oh yeah, you guys, think that you're better than us. That's what they think. Or what I would say, like nothing that I'm better than you or anything like that. Or it's like what I believe is that this is the truth. And whether they
is
think
Christianity
I don't think it
and
matters. And I don't agree with that. And that it says that like the claim of superiority leads to hatred. Hatred doesn't come from that.
I don't think you get vision but I think people do ask like I feel like if you're behaving different.
When I see all the signs, I kind of feel like that's just a little too, like invading personal space too much.
Yes and no,
Even though
I think-
I feel like, oh,
But
even though I
I
believe
think
in it,
with
but
every religion,
like holding signs, like like
most every religion will say the same thing.
But if it says like repent
There
or
goes
whatever, like I don't agree with that. No, I don't want other people to believe in God because that's fear. I don't think that's the right approach, right? And then I don't believe in the existence of hell as other people believe. There's no hell that people is gonna suffer forever. I don't think that.
there's no afterlife.
Yeah, so what I believe is that like after the 1,000 years and then they come back, and then the people who did not trust Jesus, they will respect you. There will be so.
I think that's like the same sentiment that I get too. When they're holding the sign, I feel like they're just a little too aggressive, and I'm like, oh, that's a little. I'm a little bit more.
And this is the only way. I 100% agree with this. Because if there's other way, it's so obvious that you just didn't have to come to the end. If there's other way, why would it just come and then that's the only way, that's why it has to. I agree with it. But what I'm trying to say is that maybe we need to be careful when we start a approach with others. Not saying that, oh, if you don't believe this, you're going to go to hell, you're going to die, you're going to blah, blah, blah. No, we need to approach with God's love, because it's love, I think. And then when they, some days, like, you know, when they, or I can explain what I do, and it's up to them whether they decide to believe it or not.
That's why I feel like it's wrong to say it's just weird, like religion. It's just what I do. Because it's better than religion. That's what I know. He says it's Christianity really exclusive to Jesus. What's that so rich or so Jesus said he was
Of course not. Christianity, but in this sense, like about talking about the true God and then true salvation, if let's just say one religion say that, oh, you can be saved anyway, or any religion, what's the point of believing that religion? So it doesn't make sense to me. What it says, like why Christianity is so exclusive, now I understand that, you know, oh, you cannot be saved by believing in another God.
other religions are pretty exclusive on their own.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, you know, it's not just the Christianity, all the religions are the same.
They have their own religion.
Yeah.
All right, 10 more seconds, and then we'll get it started. Okay, so let's continue on. Okay, so I'm sure some of you guys.
What does that say? So like, you know, if you believe in Jesus, you go to heaven, and then if you don't believe, you go to hell.
Yeah. So it's basically same
So
thing
we can all
as
go to hell.
yeah, same thing as what this person is saying. This is just the Korean version of it. Okay. Okay. So did Jesus actually say this? Well, we have to get the facts straight if Jesus actually said this or not. Well, let's go and actually read the Bible for ourselves. John chapter 14. Kevin, if you could read the first part for us.
Don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God and trust also in me. There's more than enough room in my Father's home. If this were not so, would I have told you that I'm going to prepare a place for you? When everything is ready, I will come and get you, so that you will always be with me where I am, and you know the way to where I'm going.
Okay, so Jesus is actually preparing his disciples because Jesus is going to die pretty soon. And he knows that he doesn't have much time left on the earth. So he's preparing the disciples. So he's just letting them, hey, I'm going away, but don't worry. I'm preparing a place for you. Tracy?
No, we don't know, Lord, Thomas said. We have no idea where you are going, so how can we know the way?
Okay, and then one more, Trace.
Jesus told him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. If you had really known me, you would know who my Father is. From now on, you do not know him and have seen him.
Okay. Okay, so Thomas is saying, we don't know the way. How do we actually get to you? And then Jesus says, these are very, very extreme, radical statements. He doesn't say, I know the way. He says, I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. And then right here, no one. Okay, so Jesus is very exclusive here. Okay, no one can come to the Father, where? Except through me. Okay, so is Jesus being exclusive when he's talking about salvation, meaning like there's only one way to actually go to God? Absolutely. Okay, so you guys might not like the way they portray themselves, because like especially like Korean, these like they're very aggressive and they could be very obnoxious, and they might do it in a very like arrogant way like this kind of stuff. Okay? But the message itself, Jesus is the only way, avoid hell, repent, trust Jesus today, this is absolutely biblical. Okay. Let's go a little bit further. But we have to understand, not only are Christians exclusive, we have to understand every worldview is actually exclusive. We have to understand that. Okay, every single worldview. Okay, every single one of us are exclusive to some degree. All right, so let's talk about a couple of them. Okay, in Islam, why are they exclusive? Because they believe that if you want to actually be a good Muslim, you have to, within the 5 pillars, one of the things is you must believe that Muhammad is the prophet. Okay? So, in one way, you have to actually believe that Muhammad is a prophet, and that's going to help you to actually go into heaven. Okay? How about in Buddhism? Buddhism, you must believe that you have to, detach, right? So you have attachments. And so you must detach all things. Even good things like love or family. You have to detach everything. If not, then you're doing a bad job. You're going to get bad karma. Okay, you're going to have more suffering upon you. And you won't reach nirvana. So therefore, you must detach all things, according to the Buddhist. Okay, how about for the Hindus? Hindus, they believe in the idea of karma and reincarnation and the different yogas that we must do. Okay, so if you don't do those things, or if you reject those things, then obviously your cycle of reincarnation will just continue, and you will continue to include bad karma for yourself. Okay. Hello. Okay, how about atheist? Atheism. Atheism is exclusive because they say you must believe, or they don't say you must, but if you want to be an atheist, you believe that there is no God, nor any spiritual reality.
Hey,
Okay?
Yeah.
So they're exclusive to Christians, Islam, Muslim, Hindus.
other religion.
Okay? Because why? These two views are contradictory. Okay? There's a religion, I'm sure most of you guys, it's not very, very popular. It's called Baha'ism. So Baha'ism actually says, all religions, Christianity, Islam, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, they're all same God. So they're very inclusive. Their whole thing is about inclusivity. But the problem is, who do they reject?
Atheism?
They reject Christians who say there's only one way. They reject Islams that say, well, you must believe. They reject Buddhism. So they reject all the other basic religions. So they say all of these are basically the same thing. So Christians, Islam, Buddhists, Hindus, they're wrong to say there's only one way. Okay? So they're inclusive, but because they're inclusive, they exclude all the exclusivists.
Are they part of Muslim or Baha'i?
I think they have some background to that, I believe. Yeah. Okay? So again, you must believe that all religions are essentially the same if you want to be in this religion. And so they say they reject everything else. Okay? So once again, we have to understand, okay, every single worldview is exclusive. Let's go back to our this guy right here. Okay, how about this person? He's telling us exclusivity is very dangerous, but he's doing the same thing. Why? Because he's insisting that Christians don't have the truth. Okay? And that other religions shouldn't do this. Because why? He's not saying it up front, but he's assuming that nobody knows the truth. Okay? How do you know that? Well, how do you know that, Goff? Okay, so he's actually being exclusive as well. He's saying anybody who says you have the truth, you're wrong. Okay? So going back to this, we have to understand truth is always exclusive. If you are making a statement, if you're saying this is wrong or this is right, That in itself, by definition, is exclusive. So this is what Walter Martin says. Truth, by definition, is exclusive. Okay, truth by definition is exclusive. If truth were all inclusive, nothing would be false. So whenever you make any statement, okay, you're being exclusive. So if you disagree with if you say, no, I disagree with Christianity, okay, there is more than one way to get to heaven, then you are being exclusive to Christians. Okay? Which is fine, because truth is always exclusive in nature. So do you guys remember we talked about coexist? Coexist is just different religions, and we have to coexist. We have to be nice to each other because, in essence, we should be nice to each other, of course. But they're saying that because, in essence, all religions are the same. Okay, but again, this is not true. But if anything, this is more true. Do you know what it reads right here? Yeah, contradicts. Right? Every single religion, they all contradict each other. Okay, so we have to understand. We all have different worldviews. Okay, so instead of saying, oh, everybody's just right, instead of saying that, we need to say, hey, we have differences. Let's dialogue together. Okay, they can't all be true. Okay, what do you guys think? Why don't you guys have discussion, okay, about this whole idea of exclusivity? Okay, go for it really quick, couple of minutes. Just your thoughts on what I presented so far.
And I totally agree with that. The truth has to be exclusive.
Every religion is exclusive. If everything is exclusive,
So, in heaven, the truth doesn't need to be exclusive. In heaven.
I agree.
But in this world, it's divided,
I do like that line where it says,
or like, if I don't want to talk about the God,
truth by definition is
we're
exclusive.
talking inside of heaven, and we have like many different views,
It's just
right?
like if everyone was
And
on
to like, I believe actually the truth. By just saying that, you don't trustworthy with what other people do. You can naturally it will. It's just like, and it's not just the Christianity. So it's
this is people
condemned for being so arrogant. No, Jesus says, Jesus claim really is
Oh, everyone's cute.
Other people that doesn't want to live in Jesus, and they want to just trying to find a spirit to attack them.
Okay, let's come back to the second part now. Okay, so we talked about it. We said, is Jesus exclusive? Absolutely. But everybody else is, whoever proclaims truth. If you believe you're right about something, then you're going to be exclusive to false things. Okay, whatever your definition of true or false is. Okay, but next part. Okay, are Christians arrogant? Okay. Now, what do we mean? What do we mean by this? Okay, this is what one person says. This is Blair. How could there just be one true religion? It's arrogant to say that your religion is superior, to try to convert everybody else to it. Surely, all the religions are equally good and valid for meeting the needs of their particular followers. So how can you say that one religion is superior to other people? Okay, that in itself, according to Blair, it is arrogant. Okay, so really quick though, just to distinguish, okay, we're not talking about arrogant attitude. Okay, you could be right about something, but if you say it in an arrogant attitude, then you're being arrogant. Okay, so we're not talking about that. We're talking about the statement in itself by saying your religion is that this content of saying my religion is correct and yours is wrong. And a lot of people say that in itself is arrogant. Okay, why? Because they said, again, all religions must be equally good and they're valid for meeting the needs. So how can you say that one is better than the other? Okay, we're going to do an activity really quickly. I'm going to show you a picture of somebody. And then afterwards, I'm pretty sure none of you guys know him. He's one of my friends. So I don't think you guys know him.
Timmy.
Not Tim though. I would have normally put Tim, but you guys know Tim, so it's not fun. So I'm gonna put a picture of him, and then you guys answer this question. Why don't you guys discuss with people next to you guys? Go for it. Try it.
I'll say like early 30 or mid 30. What do you think of this person's where? He's originally Asian. Is he Asian? I don't know. There's no way that I can know him then. What is person's favorite type of music? How do I know? What type of food do you think this person likes?
Oh, he could go like a chef. No, he doesn't give me a chef vibe.
He's a DJ.
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 He's a DJ.
What's the person's favorite type of music? I'm gonna go with classic.
Dance music.
Dance music.
music. He's a DJ.
DJ dance music.
What type of food does the person
He
like?
eats good.
He likes sushi.
Then a lot of people can
Kev, what type of food do you think he likes?
What kind of food do you think he likes? Sushi.
Sushi. So he's a sushi eating DJ.
DJ.
Yep, he's a sushi eating DJ. He likes dance music.
Okay, so just shout it out, okay? How old do you think this person is?
33.
33? 27? Keep going. Any other numbers? Early 30s. Any other? So around like late 20s to early 30s, okay? Where do you think this person is from? California? California?
He's Asian.
He's Asian.
Asian?
High probability he's in Cali, man.
High probability Californian? Okay, any other guesses than California? Chicago?
New York.
New York?
New York.
Okay.
All the major cities.
Oh, Trudy knows him too, so it's okay. Yeah, good. Okay, what do you think now we're gonna get a little harder. What do you think he does for a living?
He's a DJ.
DJ? Music DJ. Okay, what else? Just shout out, I mean,
Computer science engineering.
okay, something with computers. Okay, keep going. Any other answers?
Could be a musician.
Musician, okay. Okay, pharmacist. Okay. Okay. What do you think his favorite type of music is? Christian music? Christian music?
Dance music.
Dance music, because he's a dancing DJ, right?
DJ.
Yeah. I think someone said classical here. Okay, how about his favorite type of food? Or type of food, yeah.
Asian.
Asian food? Tteokbokki?
Sushi.
Sushi?
Thai food.
Thai food?
Oh, I was gonna say Thai. But I think I'm just saying what I'm craving
Do
right
you
now.
have an answer?
Okay, so this is, his name is Sean. This is Grace, and this is me. This is like what, 4 years ago, 5 years ago? Okay. So he is younger in this picture, but me and Sean, we went to college together, so we're same age. So we're both 35. He is from California. I shouldn't have said he's my friend. Maybe that gave you more clues. Okay, so yeah, he is from California, specifically from Northern California. What does he do for a living? I don't think any of you guys actually guessed.
Is he pastor?
He's a pastor? Now you think he's actually a nurse. Okay.
Drug
Nurses are drug dealers as well. Okay. So you were correct. Okay. What's his favorite type of music? He likes rock music, as far as I know. Okay. And the food, I think he likes Korean food, like barbecue and things like that. Okay. So question. Okay. So let's say we had Kevin and we had Joseph. Okay. And he's like, hey, he's clearly a DJ. And then Joseph says, no. Okay. He's clearly a computer engineer. Okay? And so they fight over that. Okay? And Kevin says, Joseph, you youngin, you don't even know. He's clearly, can't you see his scarf and the way he smiles? He looks just like a DJ. And then Joseph says, no, Kevin, you're too old. Don't you understand? He's definitely a computer guy. And they start like calling each other's name and says, I'm better than you. You don't know any better. You're dumb. Things like that. If they're fighting over this, then what would you say? Okay, then you would say, stop fighting, okay? Because you guys don't know him. You have no idea who he is. Does that make sense? But if Sean comes and says, I'm a nurse, okay? And you're wrong, Kevin. And you're wrong. I'm not a DJ. I'm actually not a computer engineer. I'm a nurse. Is it arrogant for him to say that? Is it arrogant for him to say, no, you're wrong, Kevin, or you're wrong? Why is it not arrogant? Because if they're just saying to each other, no, this is my opinion, or you're dumb, and things like that, then they're being arrogant because they're assuming things about this person. But if this person comes and actually says, this is who I am, and this is my characteristics, that's not being arrogant at all. Does that make sense? Okay? So, when Jesus says, okay, I am the only way, is Jesus being arrogant? No. Okay, unless, of course, if Jesus wasn't God, he would be arrogant. Because he doesn't know. How does he know? But because we know that he's God, and obviously we went through this already, Jesus actually died on the cross, and we said he resurrected, and I gave you guys reasons for why. And so we know that Jesus is God. So when he says he comes, God comes and says, there's only one way to me, is he being arrogant? No, he's just stating just the fact. Okay? So now, of course, the bigger question is Jesus really God or not? That's the bigger question. Okay? Because if Jesus is not God, okay, if Jesus is not God, then obviously, 100%, okay, he has no idea what he's talking about. Okay? So once again, if Jesus is God, then whatever he says about God, about himself, it's like saying, I like this, I'm this. It's not arrogant for him to do it or say it. Now, of course, like I said, us as Christians, we could, in our attitude, be very arrogant. Okay? So obviously, like our Bible verse says, when we explain it to people, we need to be gentle and humble, and we need to do it in a loving way. Not an arrogant way, basically. Yeah. However, to say Jesus is God, and there's only one way to Jesus, that in itself is not arrogance. Okay? Really quickly, let me just go over, again, we have to understand the whole formula or the whole understanding of Christianity, right? We talked about this. Mm-hmm. This is Christian belief. They say that sin separated us from God. Okay, so the people are on this side, and no matter how much we try to make this leap, and a lot of us, we try to do it with our moral goodness, right? Whatever our moral definition of moral goodness is. Okay, if I'm nice to people, then I can make this jump. Okay, then I could go to heaven. This kind of idea. Okay, but Christianity tells us every single one of those, you're just going to keep falling. It's not good enough. It's never good enough. Okay, so Jesus actually comes on the cross for us, and he becomes the bridge between us and God. Okay? So that's how we know, again, that's why we say Jesus is the only way. Okay? Because Jesus is the only one who could have actually died for our sins. And so only through Jesus, we can actually be connected. Okay, one more thing to consider. Hannah, next picture might be a little graphic, so just watch Abby's eyes. It's a little bloody, so a question, Todd Gibson, I actually overheard Todd Gibson say this, is, but this is very true, is if there was multiple ways to go to Jesus, or to go to God, then why is Jesus dying on the cross like this? If there was a lot of different other ways. Does that make sense? Okay, if like you could just do it the Hindu way or the Muslim way or enlightenment, or you could just think more, that's like there's all these ways, then again, why would God actually do this? Okay, a couple of other things. These are kind of side topics, but these are the questions that people normally ask. How about people who never heard of Jesus? Because it kind of sucks, right? I mean, yeah, we understand this whole idea. Okay, there's only one way to Jesus. Fine. But how about people who never heard of Jesus? And then also, how about babies? Right? They cannot make a decision, oh, I'm going to follow Jesus. They don't. What if there's, some really, really unfortunate cases where babies die? Then how about that? Okay? So I'm gonna ask you guys this, and I want you guys to get into discussion. How about people who never heard of Jesus? Isn't it unfair for them? And also for babies as well. What do you guys think? Get into your discussions. Go for it.
What does the Bible say? The Bible mentions about, I'm not 100% sure about the baby, but the people who did not know. So after, let's just say, 18th century, 19th century, 20th century, majority of the people who live in the world heard about it. But before that, for almost 6,000 years, the part of the world never heard about it. So if God only so the Bible says that the people who have know will be judged by this. Oh, there's a way. And I'm not about the babies. I'm not sure it's from the Bible or the legend way. It's saying that the babies their relationship with the parents. There will be. But yeah, I'm not sure. But the first one definitely wasn't the Bible.
Michael?
Probably he won't mention it.
Okay, should we come back together? Okay, so how about people who have actually never heard of Jesus? So this actually is within the Bible. Okay, so it's actually in Romans chapter 1. Joshua, if you don't mind, can you read the next paragraph for us?
The wrath of God is being revealed from heaven against all the godlessness and wickedness of people, who suppress the truth by their wickedness, since what may be known about God is plain to them, because God has made it plain to them.
Okay, so it says that. Okay, so he says, everyone, okay, all people, God made it very plain to them, okay, at least himself. And it could be through, like, some people, like I know, like, in countries like the Islamic countries, because, like, Christians, if you go in, like, they're going to kill you. I know, like, a lot of Islam that actually convert to Christianity because of dreams. They actually have dreams about Isha, which is Jesus. Okay, so there's many different ways. God makes it very plain to them, but it tells us it's not because of lack of knowledge. It's not because of ignorance, but because of suppression of truth. Okay, so people who are not saved, okay, they're not being saved because of, I didn't know this. Oh, there was a test, I didn't know. But it's because of the suppression of truth. Continuing on, one more. Joseph?
For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse.
Okay, another way we understand that God made it plain to them is through nature. And so he's saying there's no excuse. Okay, everybody there's a chance for you to actually, whether to accept God or not. Okay, everybody. Okay, how about baby? Okay, this, we don't have a 100% clear answer. Okay, but some people, I'm not saying I agree necessarily with this, but some people have used this story to say, oh, babies will go to heaven as well. Okay, this is an example of one. This is in 2 Samuel 12. Do you guys remember the story of David and Bathsheba? Basically, David is married, but he sees a naked girl, and he's like, okay, I want to have sex with her. Okay? So he commits adultery. Okay, and then this is what happens afterwards. Shruti?
David begged God to spare the child. He went without food and lay all night on the bare ground. The elders of his household pleaded with him to get up and eat with them, but he refused. Then on the seventh day the child died. David's advisors were afraid to tell him. He wouldn't listen to reason while the child was ill, they said. What drastic thing will he do when we tell him the child is dead? When David saw them whispering, he realized what had happened. Is the child dead? He asked. Yes, they replied. He is dead.
Okay. Okay, let's see what happens next. Richard?
Then David got up from the ground, washed himself, put on lotions, and changed his clothes. He went to the tabernacle and worshipped the Lord. His advisors were amazed. We don't understand you, they told him. While the child was still living, you wept and refused to eat. And now that the child is dead, you have stopped your mourning and are eating again.
Okay, so do you guys understand kind of the story? So David and Bathsheba, it was a adulterous relationship, and they actually have a baby. And then David says, one of your consequences are your baby will die. He will become ill, and he will die. And so David's saying, please, I don't want him to die. I don't want him to die. But then he ends up dying. Okay, but now David actually gets up and starts eating, and he starts resuming life. Let's see what happens next. Danny?
David replied, I fasted and wept while the child was alive, for I said, perhaps the Lord will be gracious to me and let the child live. But why should I fast when he's dead? Can I bring him back again? I will go to him one day, but he cannot return to me.
And this is the phrase that most people use. Okay, people who use this story to say that, oh, you see, it's talking about heaven. Okay, so one day I will go to him, but he cannot return to where I'm at. Of course, other people who say, no, this is just talking about death. Like, he's going to die one day too. So he's just talking about death. So again, we don't know exactly. But the main idea is we have to understand, whatever the circumstances is most of us, we have an image of God where God's like, okay, you messed up, hell. Oh, you messed up, hell. Oh, you're not going to accept me, hell. You're going to disobey me, hell. We're kind of like seeing God who wants to throw away. But again, the Bible doesn't portray that. If anything, the whole point of the Bible is God wanting to save people from hell. Okay? And so, again, we have to understand Jesus went through all of this to save people, not to send more people to hell. Does that make sense? So, again, why would God do this if he wanted to send all these people to hell? That's not the point. Okay? God wants to actually rescue everybody. And the invitation is actually open to everybody as well. But there's only one way to go to heaven, which is Jesus. Okay? Let's go into our discussion questions, and then we'll finish. Actually, afterwards, we're going to stay in here because we have to wait. So go ahead. This is another good one.
Yeah. That's one that I remember. Like what you mentioned.
So what's the default?
Default?
What's the default? Do you go to heaven or do you go to hell?
No, by
Or
default,
don't
we're
go-
all because of
don't
sin.
go anywhere.
Because of sin, we're all damned to hell, basically. Yeah.
But we only can be saved by Jesus.
Yeah.
Because he paid our wages of sin.
So then what happens to the people that don't know about Jesus? Do they just go to the fall of hell?
So like we talked about before, we would say everybody has there is no one who didn't really know about God. Everybody has some way. It might be not through the name of Jesus specifically, but everybody through maybe dreams, visions, or through friends, through something, through nature, they're able to understand them.
And through their consciousness. So what I believe is that, like, God is a fair judge. He should have a fair way to distinguish them as whether they can do it or not. Because we have a simple nature that we inherit, right? At the same time, we have a good nature that God printed in our heart. So we still have a chance to decide. Even